Are we live on the Facebook?
It's setting up to do that. I'm actually going to end the recording and then I'm going to restart it right now. Okay, we are live, I believe.
Yay. Wait, on your business page or on yours?
Business page. Says we're live. Here we are live. Yay. Okay, and then, oh, and it just says Mallory. It doesn't have the title. Oh my goodness, so annoying.
We can change that later, can't we?
Yeah, but I put it, like they do this new title thing now, so that's why I did the title, and then it didn't put the title.
All right.
So let me get to my page here, and then I'm gonna start a watch party. Everyone say hi as you're hopping on. So we know that you are here.
All right, you have your juice. I have my Delson. Make sure I'm not coughing into this microphone.
Also start a watch.
Gosh, it's like so good. Reminds me when I was little and I used to drink grape soda. But without the carbonation. So like it doesn't hurt.
Let's see, I think it might let me edit. Okay, yeah, it's letting me edit it. We'll be right with you guys as we're waiting for everyone to hop on. I can't see the comments. Okay, there we go. All right, so I'll stay there and then I'll start a watch party from my all right. Maybe it'll let me tag you here, Mallory. Yep, it does.
Wee-hoo.
And then we'll have to go back and tag you later. Can you share it to your page?
Maybe.
Okay, here we are. Hello, Beth. Hello, Carlin. Hello, Laura, top fan.
Oh,
hello, everyone. Okay, so this is the first interview in this new series that I'm doing called Becoming Wealthy. And it's very fitting that we have Mallory on today for the first interview. Mallory is a forever client of mine, I feel like. She's been with me for a long, long time. And she's pretty much done like all of the Leah things. There's a couple things I think that she hasn't done, but for the most part, she's done almost all the Leah things. But she's also like my right hand in my business. So she's my assistant, and she, you know, mostly I think manages me for the most part is what she does. But so, you know, not only is she on this journey herself, but she's been on this journey with me. So has, I think, a really unique perspective to the topic of this live stream series, in that she's on the journey herself. And then she's also been like an active participant and observer in my journey to becoming wealthy. So this live stream series for me, it's going to be a series of 9 interviews. First one being today, and I'm going to be interviewing, I think, primarily alumni from my Ouroboros program, talking to them about the impact of that program in their lives and where they came from and where they are now. But I may have a couple surprise visitors in the series as well that aren't necessarily Ouroboros alumni. So you'll be able to catch these every day. They'll be on my business page. We'll also be uploading them to YouTube. So yeah, just strap in, and who knows what's going to happen. I was going to like script some questions and come with some questions prepared to ask Mallory. But then I just sat on my bed and watched Lock and Key on Netflix all afternoon yesterday because I had a headache. So I am not prepared, but all in divine timing, all divinely led as always. So welcome, Mallory. Thanks for being the first guest on the Becoming Wealthy live stream series extravaganza.
Extravaganza. Yes, thank you for having me. Glad to be part of the extravaganza.
So yeah, maybe just tell us, I mean, I think it's interesting. I think the story of like how we came to be is interesting. So maybe just share a little bit about like how you found me, and then a little bit about like your journey, like where you've come from. And you've had some like really, really amazing wins in the last year. So I definitely want to talk about those, but let's right now just have you like kind of give the background of where you came from, and then like what was your money story, and like when you came and started working with me, what was your money story?
So you and I met summer of 2017. So, and it feels like longer just because it feels like we've known each other longer. It feels like we've known each other for like forever. And I, gosh, I knew that I was having my spiritual reawakening. And at the time you were doing a lot more spiritual coaching and, you know, classes related to magic, and that just really spoke to me. And I also remember, like, it's so embarrassing now, but I also remember at the time, because you also, when it came to your money stuff, you were very much influenced by Amanda Francis, and you were very much, it's interesting to hear you talk now about how like mindset work with money stuff has its place, but it's not, you know, it's not the only thing, because I remember you being primarily mindset focused when we first met. And I also kind of remember, I remember when it came to the money stuff that I was totally like, oh my God, she's so full of shit. Like, you can't just like make more money. Like, you have to work. Like, I had this whole story, this whole tape running of like, you have to work hard and you have to work to get money. It's like, so get more money, work more. Like, that was the, you know, input, output. Like, that was the story that I was really operating on. And like we were saying at the beginning, like, I've done so many things with you. Like, I just basically have done all the Leah things since the day we met. And you know, the things that have had the biggest impact, you know, in working with you for so long have been the spiral, obviously, and Ouroboros and the, you know, and the money work. Um, you know, I've definitely had this story about, you know, you have to work hard and you have to work in order to make money. And like, it has to be hard. It has to be a struggle. Otherwise, you don't deserve it. Um, and that's something that's been like a huge shift because I literally just said this, like I was commenting on somebody else's post. It's like, you know, money doesn't care if you're a good or a bad person. It's not about deserving it because you have all these altruistic motives, or you have, you know, whatever the case may be. It's like, it's a neutral resource. Anybody can attract it. And, you know, when I was meeting.
Why do you think the cartels are so successful?
Exactly.
The drug cartels are rolling in the dough, right? Like, yeah.
Totally.
So I think it's interesting what you're saying, because like you had this thing where it's like, I have to work hard. You're like, you're full of shit. You have to work hard for money. And then you literally pursue a job.
And then I literally
proceeded to quit your job.
Oh, exactly. Like, yes. That is actually that's a good point.
So you obviously believed me a little bit.
Yeah, I did. You know, I mean, it took time. You know, because the very first money thing that I ever actually did was Amanda Francis's Money Mentality Makeover by your recommendation, because you were able to provide me. It wasn't until you were able to be like, hey, I went from X amount of dollars a month to this, you know, whatever the results were, but you were able to give me like tangible, like, hey, I went from this to this and this to this and this to this, and these are the results that I experienced. And then I was like, oh, whatever. Okay, whatever. What's making this investment? Maybe it'll actually work. And because I went in with that attitude, that horrible attitude, I didn't actually experience a whole lot of like external shifts, but I did start feeling internal shifts. And I did start kind of thinking like, okay, well, maybe there is something to this, to, you know, making our vibrations an energetic match for money. Maybe there is something to this. Okay. So the cracks started happening, like cracks started happening, the lights started shining through. But I'm such a skeptic by nature. If it doesn't make logical sense, I'm like digging my heels in, so resistant, like it doesn't, like there's no fucking way. Interestingly enough,
one line, that's your one line.
Interestingly enough, until it came time to go through the spiral with you, because it was like I could see the difference in you, like after you, like, because I saw the journey. I saw what you were like before, your energy, and just what you were like at the very, you know, the very beginning, because I met you like right before, I think, the spiral. And so I got to see the evolution over time, and I was like, there's nothing logical about this work. There's absolutely nothing logical about this work, but I have to go through it. And at some level, I knew that I was going to be a practitioner too, even before I had gone through it. And that's really when it was like, oh, okay, there is something to this. There is something to none of this making any sort of fucking sense whatsoever, and also still having results. And I think if I hadn't had those experiences with you and I hadn't seen your transformation too, there's no way I would have done, I would have continued on and done something like Ouroboros, because that's money. That's something that we have to work for. There's no way around it. Like, yeah.
That's an interesting point, right? Like, so by the time Ouroboros, so for those of you that don't know, there's a couple questions being asked, like, what is Ouroboros? And I think, oh, Beth, of course, is answering all the questions. Thank you, Beth. So yeah, I have a wealth repatterning program called Ouroboros that literally clears out emotionally conditioned responses, societal programming, ancestral imprintations.
Imprints.
That's a fucking hard word. Imprintations. My new word now in my program. So yes, ancestral DNA imprints, and it is one of a kind, the only out like it deconstructs money, wealth, and programming the way that it does. So, but it's interesting. Let's talk about this, because you had gone through the spiral and you had deconstructed such of your and I think it did leave you open to believing that it could also happen with money. And, you know, I have a lot of people going through the spiral is not a prerequisite of doing my program. So I have a lot of people that still have a fuck ton of conditioning and programming around everything in their life, not just money, coming into this program. And I think, you know, there's no right or wrong way, because money to me is the programming deconstruction gateway drug. Like, that's how I feel. Like, I feel like I can access all that other stuff through money, but I think there's something maybe to what you're saying, that like maybe you wouldn't have been, you would have, I already know, you would have done Ouroboros. I would have talked you into it.
Yeah, you're really good at talking me into stuff.
But, you know, you are a 5-1 profile in human design. So there is that, and I am too, which is why I understand this. It's like there is that need for us as 5-1 to understand. Like, logically, we want to understand why it works, how it works. We want to know all the things about all the things. So it's an interesting point. So for those of you that are out there, one line that are sitting there going, I don't know if I really buying this, what she's selling. I'm not really picking up what she's putting down. You have a one line here telling you that shit works.
And it works. Like, my one line was so I'm just so skeptical about everything. And like, and because I'm stubborn about it as well, on top of it, like, it probably takes longer for me to get results. Because I'm at some level, it was like, you know, because this is now the third round that I'm going through with you. The first round, if I'm truly honest, I didn't actually fully embed myself in the container until the second month. And by then, you know, the program was a third of the way over. You know, since then you've extended the program, but like, I was in such a resistance, and I had all the excuses in the world about like why I couldn't and why whatever, blah, blah, blah. And then I expected like my financial situation to totally, completely turn around in 2 months after, you know, 30 plus years of conditioning on living my life a certain way. Right. And it did. My financial situation totally changed. It fucking crashed and burned is what it did. It like the bottom fell out, and I remember like trying to write like a testimonial for it and going like, no, I know, because if that had happened 2 years ago, I would have completely lost my shit. Like, there's no way that I would have coped with the things that were happening. And as it was happening, as it's crashing and burning, I'm like watching the ashes and the rubble, the metaphorical ashes and rubble around me, and going like, well, there's going to be some cool garden stuff coming up from the ashes after this. Like, there's going to be some wonderful growth that happens and some wonderful awesomeness that comes after this. And it 100% did. It took the second round, but I mean, I had this $20,000 win that happened. I just had $20,000 of my debt wiped out for me, and it was amazing. And, you know, and was, oh no, we lost her.
Oh, Bali internet, you fickle foe. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Hold on. Now of course, my AirPods are not okay, we're gonna Can you see me, Mallory?
I can see you, but you're frozen. I can hear you.
Hold on, I can't hear you is the only thing. Oh, Bali. Are we live on Facebook again? Someone that's watching comment so we can see if you guys can see us.
I see us.
I can't, oh, there we go. Okay. I can hear you. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Are we on Facebook or no? Okay, yes, we are. We're on Facebook. We're back.
Yay.
Bali, trying
Just
to.
I was getting really excited. Come on, guys. Oh, now I can't hear you.
No?
Oh, now I can. Oh, now I can't.
What?
Now I can.
Oh my God. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay.
I was like, maybe you have to yell all the time now.
Oh my God. Okay. Hello, we're back.
Hi. I don't even remember what I was talking about.
You were talking about the destruction and trying to write the testimonial.
The fun part. Oh yeah. Trying to write that testimonial. That was really hard because it was like, I really wanted to because I knew that there was a benefit, but I was like, this isn't going to sell her program when I tell people like, hey, my financial life fell apart. Like, because it did, and it had to, and I see now that it had to, because I had to see for myself firsthand that I could handle anything that was thrown at me. I had to see and I had to trust in my own power that I could, that whatever happened, that I was going to be okay. And and not just that the universe has, in that universe has my back sort of way, because I 100% believe that as well, but also in a, no, I can pull myself up by my bootstraps and I can figure this out and I can take control and I can negotiate with my creditors and I can do X, Y, Z, you know, and be an active participant in my life instead of having other people tell me how my financial situation should be and how I should be directing my finances and how I should be spending this money that you know, that I'm earning and that I'm, you know, that I'm bringing in, how I'm spending the money that's coming into me. And, you know, the biggest shift for me in that second round was finally going, no, my creditors are not the priority. I'm the priority. And it's like, I have more than enough for the things that I need to make sure that my body is healthy, to make sure that I have a roof over my head, to make sure that I have a gym membership to keep my body healthy, to make sure that we have groceries and all of those things that I want for myself and desire for myself. And that gets paid first. Everything else is secondary. And it was so empowering to get to that point where it's like, it's not about anybody else now. It is about me.
And so I do want to say here, like, this program is deconstructive in nature. You don't come into this program thinking it's going to be all rainbows and unicorn shit and glitter all the time, because that is not the case. Like, this program is deconstructive in nature. And for many of us who have completely bought into all the programming around money, wealth, and receiving, and we have associated our worthiness and our deserving directly with the amount of money that's in our bank account or lack thereof, it can be painful because it requires excavating that rotting fucking foundation, because you can't build on a rotting foundation. So for many of us that do this work, I was one of those included, like, the shit has to hit the fan. The shit has to hit the fan because you've got to excavate all the rot. It has to come out. You cannot build on top of it. And that I think is, that in and of itself, I think deters people from signing up for this program. And what I say to that is good, because if you're not willing to face your shit and you're not willing to come in and actually go through the hard times, you'll never find, first of all, you're never going to find the reward, because you're going to continue to try to build multi-dollar mansions on top of rotting foundations, and they'll keep crumbling and falling to the ground. But I don't want anybody in this program that's not willing to do the work, that's not willing to show up to the hard stuff, because that's what this program is about. And so, here's the thing. Everybody has a different level of conditioning. Everybody has a different level of rot in their foundation. And some people come into this program and have amazing wins, like in the first few weeks, because they've done a lot of other work, and there's something in them that's just ready. And so they have wins and they have successes. And other people, it's like they're in the fucking depths and despair and the darkness. But so Mallory, you go through, it's fucked up. The shit hits the fan, and but you ultimately find freedom in that, right? Because that's what this is about. It's about freedom from the programming. And in the freedom from the programming, then we actually have the ability to create. So talk about like how amazing the shit hits the fan for you. It's worse than it's ever been. You realize that you have the power. You take the power back, and what happens, like, literally on the other side of that?
Literally on the other side of it, I had like $20,000 just showed up and knocked $20,000 of my debt out of the way. And I had never had a big win. In fact, I'm going through the entire Ouroboros process going like, I want a $10,000 win too. Like, all these people are having all these like 10,000, like huge chunks of money coming to them. I'm like, I want a huge chunk of money to come to me too. What the fuck, man? Like, and it finally happened. And it's like the more, and that's what I'm finding too, is that the more that I prioritize myself in my finances, the better it is, the better it is. And the more often that happens, it's like, when I find myself slipping back into, because it's like we excavate the foundation and we deconstruct the programming, but it's like, it doesn't mean that it's fully gone. It's still ongoing work, and things still pop up. And like, so if I find myself falling back into those old patterns in my finances, it's like things feel really constricted. And it's like there was nothing like, it's like I had that $20,000 win, but it was like great to have that $20,000 win. But really for me, it really has been that freedom piece of nobody else gets to tell me what I do with my money. I decide where every penny goes. I decide where every bit of my money goes. I make the decisions. It's my choice. It's my money. It's what I get to do. And that has been so beautiful. And that has, I just remember like crying every day and freaking out every day because I was worried about not having enough for XYZ to do whatever. And just that really shitty feeling of just, it's outside of my control and there's nothing else that I can do about it. That I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. Every American feels this way. This is what I'm supposed to be doing, right? I'm supposed to be struggling. I'm supposed to be, putting everything else first and not putting myself first, and not putting, you know, not just me, you know, I have a partner. Most people, you know that I have a partner, but it's like putting us first and putting our happiness and our contentment first. And it's like, it's so much easier for the money to flow in when you do. And
Yep.
I didn't believe you. It's like everything that you say for the first like 20 times that you say it, I'm like, nah. And then I actually do it. And it's like, one of these days I'll just listen to you the first time.
Probably not.
One of these days.
5-1 manifester. It's probably never going to happen.
You don't
I'm not
know.
going to hold my breath for that. I might die. So this is an important part, I think, because it is in the taking back. So everyone does feel the same, and it doesn't matter the amount of money in your bank account. Everyone feels controlled by money because in our society, the program is designed to keep you feeling controlled by money, because the global financial agenda does not work when you are in your freedom, right? When you are putting yourself first, the global financial agenda does not function and it does not work. So the program is designed to keep you doing everything from a place of you are controlled and you are powerless. You have to pay this amount of taxes because that's what we say you have to do. Do you even understand paying taxes? Do you know where the money comes? Do you understand do you even stand the tax code? Do you know who gets the money? Do you know how ultimately that benefits you or how it benefits the world? No, you have no fucking idea. You do it because you grew up in a system that told you that you get a job and you pay 30% of your money to the government and that's it. And you don't question it. You do not question anything. And maybe one day when you decide to become an entrepreneur and start a business, someone's like, oh, you don't have to pay as much taxes because you get write-offs. And you're like, wow, that sounds really good. And then you have an accountant that's like putting your write-offs in for you and you still don't fucking understand the tax code and you still don't understand where your money's going. And again, you are being controlled by the system because you being free does not serve the global financial agenda. But here's the thing about you becoming free. Here's the thing about you recognizing that you actually have the power, that you are actually in control. All of a sudden, all the fear and all the doubt and all the unknown gets cleared up out of your bandwidth. And now what do you have time to do? See things from a different perspective. Allow things that were never before even something that you wouldn't even conceive. Could you even conceive that someone would come in and just wipe out that debt? Could you even conceive of the fact that that could happen?
No.
So, and because you couldn't conceive of it energetically, you wouldn't allow it. Because the only place that you could be is in a place of fear and doubt and control. And I'm never going to get out from under this debt. I'm never going to get out from under this debt. I'm never going to get out from under this debt. And so you were never getting out from under the debt. But when you took your power back and you said, no, I'm in control here. No, I'm going to decide where my money gets spent. No, I'm no longer going to just blindly follow this fucking global financial agenda that is not serving me, that is literally being supported on the back of my labor, then all of a sudden I'm empowered. All of a sudden I'm not afraid of those debt collectors. All of a sudden I'm not afraid of the late payments on my credit cards. All of a sudden I'm not afraid of an overdraft fee here and there. So the fear is gone. All of a sudden I'm not feeling like a piece of shit about myself because I'm a financial failure. Oh, now I feel good about myself and I actually have like my power back. And now I'm like, wow, there are other possibilities. And your bandwidth frees up and you have space to actually create, but not just to create. Your energetic availability completely shifts. So then, yeah, the fucking big wins can come in. And that is what I believe creates those large shifts and those large wins. It's a shift in energetic availability, right? So even though you were doing the work, that primary statement that was, that had been reinforced and reinforced and reinforced and reinforced by myelin, that neurotransmitter, that you would never get out from under the debt, you had to reinforce that so strongly that it didn't matter how much mindset work you did. It didn't even really matter how much clearing work you did at that point until you finally deconstructed whatever the fucking thing was, right? And it may have been ancestral, till you actually deconstructed that thing that said, oh no, I am powerful. I don't need to be controlled. Then all of a sudden, that neurotransmitter that had been reinforced that you were never getting out from under that debt, there was no more reinforcement from it because you weren't in control. And so you stopped reinforcing that to yourself every second of every day, whether you were consciously thinking it or not. That motor was going in the back of your bandwidth 24/7. I'll never get out from under this debt. I'll never get out from under this debt. I'll never get out from under this debt. Soon as that fucking shifted, what happens? $20,000 of debt gets wiped out. And I swear to God, it was like right after that happened to you, then like one of my family members wiped out $11,000 of my debt. And I swear to God, it was because of your, like, it was like, isn't that how it happened? Or did mine get wiped out first?
No, I think yours got wiped out. No, yours got wiped out first because I even said something like,
oh, okay,
somebody would do that for me.
And then what happened?
And then,
bam. So it is like, that's what I believe happens. Like, that's where I believe, like, when you see people coming into my programs, I got a $10,000 check. I made $4,500, like these big wins, Mallory, 20 grand. Like, I believe truly it is energetic availability. It's a shift of energetic availability. And we do that. We create those shifts through the excavation. And the excavation is fucked. Like, I'm not going to lie to you. It sucks. And I will tell you this, wealth consciousness work is forever work. There's always something else to excavate. There's always something else to look at, because as you grow and as you move the decimal points in your earning potential, more shit comes up. That looks like a duck. Quack, quack. More shit comes up, more shit comes up, more shit comes up, right? So what was the hardest part of the program for you?
I think the hardest part was being open and willing to surrender to the process. That one line, like trying to make logic happen, and it's just, it's logical and it's not logical. And I had to be willing to accept the parts of it that were not logical. And I think that was the hardest part, because it's like that fear response of there's no possible way that could work, all of that. And that's just self-sabotage, So getting past that voice enough to be like, well, this way obviously isn't fucking working, so let's try something else. Like, yeah. And finally kind of being able to shut that down enough, make it quiet enough that the other voice, like, the other voice, that's the cheerleader voice, was so much louder and stronger.
Yeah. I mean, it's interesting because I think that's partially what, people, when they first come into my field, they don't fully understand. It's like at least 50% of what I do is about the magical. It is about the mystical. It is about the unexplainable. And that's why it works, because I am divinely guided, because I do have a rock solid connection to the divine, because I do manifest things in not just my life, but in my programs and in the lives of my clients, because I believe that I can, because I'm willing to lean all the way in on the otherworldly, the supernatural, the unknown. And I'm a 5-1 line also, right? So let me just tell you that I'm willing to lean in, but I also want to fucking know why it works. And I will forever chase it's like I'm at the place in my life because it's worked for me so much that I'm willing to trust, but I'm forever chasing and seeking the answer of why. So just because I come into this program and I'm like, we clear ancestral DNA and generational trauma and imprints that come down through, we look at 20 generations in 8 branches of your family tree in this program. Do I know why it works? No, I don't fucking know why it works. Do I know what it's based in? Yes, it is based in kinesiology. It is based in emotional clearing work. It is based in particular, in this next round of the program, it's based heavily in Chinese 5 elements philosophy. We are using, several ancient proven systems combined together to do emotional resonance clearing and emotional clearing work. And so, yeah, I can dissect each piece of those and go, okay, yeah, like I know this part works for this reason and this part works for this reason. And, I know that scientifically we've proven that we carry at least 7 generations of ancestral memory in our DNA. But can I actually sit here and explain to you why and how it works? No, I can't. I just know it does. And at the same level, I will forever be seeking the answer to that question. As soon as I find it, I'll let you know. But in the meantime, it's just fucking good enough for me that it's worked for over 100 people at this point, right? Like, it just works. And so I'm willing to lean in on trust until I get the factual, information. But God telling me that it's good, that it works, is good enough for me also. Like, the divine being like, go do this thing. Because this program, I didn't make this program up. This program came through me. This program was given to me by the divine. So, who am I to question? Who am I to question, really? Right? And as soon as we started seeing the results, and now we've seen person after person after person have the wins and excavate the rotting foundations and, build these amazing new lives and be free of the programming. Like, that's the biggest part. And so, and in the being free of the programming, finally, some people for the first time in their lives feeling worthy and deserving. That's the fucking magic, right? That's why I do it. And it's not logical. So
it's not. And that has been the biggest growth point for me too, is the worthiness and deserving piece. It's like I had to get to a certain point to get to the point of like, no, my finances are for me first. My money is for me first. And that has made all the difference.
And it's just crazy because it's like counterintuitive. You think like it feels a bit like you're turning your back on your responsibilities, or you're turning your back on, that you're being a bad custodian of money by putting yourself first. But the truth is that is actually the thing that frees you up to be able to handle all the responsibilities. Like, it is the putting yourself first. It is the taking back control that actually allows you to meet your obligations. But here's another earth-shattering piece of information for you. The global financial agenda doesn't actually want you to be able to meet your financial obligations. It actually serves the global financial agenda for you to not meet your financial obligations, because you're charged then more interest, and then you go further into debt, and you're always feeling upset and scattered and small and in fear. That's what serves. So you're doing, if you feel like you're a fuck up financially, you're actually the ideal, like, you are the most compliant, programmed being there is. So you're actually winning. You're winning at the program if you feel fucked up, and if you feel like you're a bad person because of the financial decisions that you've made, or the mistakes, your perceived mistakes. So the good news is you're doing a great job. The bad news is you're doing a great job. Like, you're literally never going to move out of that place, because that is where it's designed to keep you. And then it's like, you're like, oh, if I can just get this job, oh, if I can just get this promotion, oh, if I can just make this much money a month, then guess what? Then you pay this much more in taxes. Then you have these other obligations. Then you're literally going to get further and further into debt, because that's what serves the agenda. Now my computer's about to die. Oh my God, the struggle is real. Now I have to find my cord.
Is Shenanigans Leah back? Because she's been missing for a really long time. I feel like.
I know. I've like had my shit together lately. And now, did it hang up? Oh, don't hang up. Let's make it in time. Got something for the boober reel there. Leah live stream back in full effect. Okay. Saved. We saved it. Yeah, so this is the work I'm here to do, to deconstruct this programming, to get you to a place of freedom
and non-compliancy.
Stop being a fucking compliant, programmed Sheeple. Sheep. Lamb.
We're teaching people how to not follow the rules.
Yes, fuck the rules.
Fuck the rules.
Okay. Do you have a question for me?
So you've talked a lot, I think, about like your initial like crash and burn moment of your money story, but you also have said that when you were taking yourself, you used yourself as a guinea pig for all of the things that you are now teaching others to do, and all the clearings that you're doing on other people. What was your what was your crash and burn moment, that your phoenix rising from the ashes moment during that experimental process?
Oh my God. Well, I have a fucking phoenix tattooed on my arm for a reason, because I literally am in a fucking phoenix rising from the ashes moment, I think every moment of my life. Like I have a whole post. I might post it again later today. Actually, it's one I post quite frequently, that, my best friend she sends me this beautiful message every year on my birthday. And she sent me this message one year after we had lost the business. It was the year after we had lost the business. And she sent me this message, and the message started by, "Your motherfucking phoenix on crack rising from the ashes." And so, I think because of the nature of who I am, like I'm comfortable in the fire. I'm actually more comfortable in the fire than I am not in the fire. So, I think wealth consciousness work to me it feels like I'm always standing in the fire. It feels like I'm always standing on the coals. Because I'm in constant competition with myself to see where I can go next. And the more I deconstruct, the more it changes my the more I deconstruct, the more my reality changes. And those changes can be quite quick and quite sudden, because I'm not taking myself through gently the way that I take you guys through. It's like, typically I'm like seeing how much I can handle without breaking, And so, oh wow, let's see. There's so many moments that I can think of, but I will say, so there was this one moment where we had moved to Bali, and I had to come to do the soul alchemy retreat in Mexico in January. And I had been having really good financial months, but November, so we were supposed to come to do the soul alchemy retreat in January, and November was like a really slow month for me. And it was slow, but it was not like, it was still an amazing financial month, but it was slow for me at the time. And we had a tremendous amount of expenses that had come up that month. And so I got into a little bit of a funk. I got into a little bit of and I just started clearing. I just started putting myself through the fire, trying to figure out what I could shift, and I was like, I think Dane has a page of money clearers in the back of the Clear Your Shit book. And I took myself through all of them in one day. I remember that. And I just I was just like, fuck this. I'm moving out of this. And I've done that to myself so many times. I'm much better now of not overloading my system with clearing, and the fucking bottom fell out for 2 weeks. I didn't make any money. I did that, and I literally which is, and Mallory knows how crazy this is, because in my business, we make money every day, right? But I made no money. No money came in for 2 weeks, and I was like, what the fuck? I had this huge trip that I had to, that I was had to go on with my whole family. It was my husband's 50th birthday. I mean, like that whole trip to the United States ended up costing like 30 grand. And literally I had nothing. And then I made no money, right? Like it was so fucking crazy. And I was freaking out. And I was just like, oh my God. But again, like I've been in this place so much because, you know, those of us that are here to teach, like it is our work. Dealing with money shit is my work because I'm here to fucking teach it. So I'm always going to be in the fire. I'm always going to be putting myself in the fire. I'm always going to be, you know, I have to learn. I have to experience what you're learning and what you're experiencing because I have to be able to guide you through it. Right. And so, you know, at that point, I just did what I do, which is I leaned in on faith. And I was like, no, enough fucked up shit has happened to me in my life that I know on the heels of every situation like that, there's enormous blessing coming. And so I was just like, God fucking deliver the thing. Like, you got to deliver the blessing. You've got to deliver the blessing. Like, and I just became rigorously disciplined in my personal practices. Was doing my wealth resonance clearing every day. I was like, this isn't a fucking option. Like, but the bottom had definitely fallen out. And then I made the most money I had ever made in my entire life in a month. You know, it was like probably a few more days. The bottom fell out. I hadn't made money for 2 weeks. I probably went a few more days. And then all of a sudden I ended up doing like $68,000 in a 30-day period. So, but again, it was, you know, doing the deconstruction work, the bottom falling out, but then having the faith and just being like, no, fuck this. It's going to work. Like, it's going to work. I know it's going to work. I have the faith. I trust the divine. It's going to happen. And it did. And we had an amazing trip. And well, I don't know if we had an amazing trip. I didn't really like that trip. I mean, I liked the trip to Mexico, but I didn't really like the trip to the United States. It was like, I don't know. That was my solidifying trip of like not wanting to, definitely knowing that I didn't want to be in the United States, was going back to the United States that time. And I think experiencing the hatred of the United States in Mexico probably added to it too.
That was different. But, sure.
So, you know, I think that's one example of something that's happened to me, but I honestly feel like it happens all the time. Then we came back from that trip and I was like in a funk for like 6 weeks. Remember that? Had like the lowest income month I'd ever had in that February.
Yeah.
And I was just like, could not get out of the funk. And then I was in the funk. So I was clearing more and clearing more and clearing more and getting deeper and deeper and deeper.
But now it's like super quick. Now it happens super quick, right? You're like, okay,
yeah,
whatever. Oh, the bottom fell out, and then the next just day you're fine.
Just a regular
2 hours
Wednesday.
later, you're fine. Just a regular Wednesday.
But I mean, that is the thing about the work, right? Like, so yes, it's the first round, it's really hard. Like, it's hard to go through it, but the more you do the work, the quicker you bounce back, the easier it is to identify the things, the quicker it is to shift. You know, now it's like when I fall into, that was a really long funk. That was a year ago. Yeah, it was a year ago, like where that really bad funk happened, right? Like, and that was the last one I've had that was that long. Now, and I have funks. I fall into funks. I kind of feel like I'm in one right now. Like, I've been really unmotivated. I just fucking realized though that the sun and the moon is in Pisces, which is basically like putting a wet blanket over all my fire. And I don't fucking appreciate it. I'm so tired and like, but I feel really unmotivated, right? I feel like I'm in a bit of a funk right now, but it's like now, like staying in a funk for 6 weeks is just not fucking an option. So, you know, it might be a couple of days and then I actually feel like I'm back now. Getting on this live stream I'm like, yeah, I'm back. I'm good, you know, but the last 2 days I've kind of felt like, meh, had a headache, like,
we have a lot of similar astrological things, so I'm feeling the.
But I'm gonna get off this call and go take myself through level 3 of the spiral because I'm taking myself through the fucking spiral again right now with a money, wealth, and abundance focus because I can never stop, right? So I gotta go take myself through, which now I'm laughing. Oh my God. So I've been like, why have I been feeling so emotional and shitty about money for the last week? The last 2 weeks.
You're in level 2 of the spiral.
Oh my God. See, and like we do this work and then we like just forget, right? I'm just like, what the fuck's wrong with me? Why am I so emotional? Why am I like, what's going on? Why am I so tired? Why do I want to sleep all the time? Why am I like just want to cry and get a massage? Oh, well, literally classic level 2 of the spiral, all those feels, right? In relation to money, wealth, and abundance.
I feel like we
that
should
shit.
blame Pisces.
We're moving into level 3 today. Like I'm getting my power back. Watch out. The interwebs will be on fire tomorrow. What's your advice for anyone that's contemplating doing the program?
If there's any possible way that you can make it happen, make it happen. Do it. Don't hang on the sidelines and get scared about how am I going to make the payments? How am I going to, like, just do it. Just dive in, just go. Like
how would you tell them that they're ready? Like, how would you, like, if they're like, how do I know if I'm ready?
You're about to piss yourself when you think about making the financial investments.
Or vomit.
Or vomit. Yeah. That was me. I was like, I don't know how I'm going to make out whatever, blah, blah, blah. Ugh, my stomach feels so bad. I was like, okay, well, I guess that means I have to do it. No, but I mean, it's like, you have to make the right decision for you. But like, if you're contemplating it, it means that there's something stirring inside of you that you know that this program is for you. So if you're feeling that stirring, find a way to make it work. I mean, you had this wonderful thing on your live stream the other day of like, if you're paying $200 for cable, you can afford a payment plan for Ouroboros. Just shut off the cable for a year. You don't fucking need it anyway. And it's just more programming coming at you that you're trying to deconstruct anyway. So like, get rid of your cable for a year. Your kids will be fine. They can Netflix and they can YouTube and whatever. Like, and just do it. Just fucking do it. That's what I have to say.
So what's next for you? Like where, like with all this newfound freedom, like where are you at right now? What is your, like, what are your plans? And also like, you know, what's the, I guess 2 questions. What's your next, because you came back as alumni this round. So what's your goal for this round of alumni of Ouroboros? Like what are you coming into this round to get? And also like, what's next for you? Like what's next for you that like wouldn't have been possible prior to doing this program or prior to starting to do all this work, right? Like what's next, but also like, why did you come back as an alumni other than I gifted it to you?
I mean, that was a huge reason. And I did totally like sit there crying because that's, you know, this program is, I was gonna say worth its weight in gold, but then it's a program. So it's like an ethereal thing. So it doesn't actually weigh anything. So that doesn't mean anything. Okay. This program is worth so much. It is worth, I mean, I think it's worth more than what your pricing is for it, just because of I can't put a price on the feelings that I have towards my finances now versus what they were before. You know, for me, this
and round, you can't put a price on feeling fucking worthy and deserving. Like that is priceless.
Yes, absolutely, 100%. You know, for me, I'm upping the ante. I was like, hey, I got $20,000 last round, so this round is going to be 30, and I'm going to have 30,000 knocked off of my debt. So that's like the big like financial piece, but also one of the reasons that I came back and that I'm from day one, actually since pre-day one, I've been fully inserted in the container here, is that I've started seeing the way that it's bleeding out. You know, the deconstruction of programming has been bleeding out into other areas of my life. And I'm really, you know, in particular, it's like the 5-1 line. It's like that perfectionist tendency that like, you know, that also takes on the projections of other people and having to be all of the things to other people. And there's, you know, and that's all programming as well, you know, especially like for women. So I am interested in, you know, deconstructing the programming around femininity for me and what, you know, constitute, you know, like what constitutes a woman and womanhood and all of that kind of stuff. I'm looking forward to like going down that route on my, you know, on my own as we're deconstructing like money programming, because I really feel like that's something that it affects me and how I show up in the world, and ultimately is the biggest contributor into me playing small. And I'm not here for playing small anymore. I'm tired of it. It's boring.
Yes, I love it. Yeah, it was interesting, like to be on, you know, we just finished the planning calendar for this round of Ouroboros. It has started, by the way, it started on Thursday. We had our welcome call on Thursday. The doors are open until the 29th, so you can still register. But we did the planning calendar, and last round of Ouroboros, I added a whole new section, which added another month onto the program this time. And then this time I'm adding a new series that's only a 3-part series, but we're putting in 3 new parts, 3 new bits of content this time. And so when we talked to the people on the welcome call on Thursday about the content and about everything that they were getting, like a couple people were just like one person said, I feel like I'm taking advantage of you because of how much I paid to get into this program. Like that, like she was like, it should be so much more. I feel like I'm taking advantage of you based upon what I'm getting. So, I mean, there's so much content. There are group clears, there are one-on-one clears with me. And here's the other thing, this is the last round where I'm going to be doing all of the one-on-one clearing, because I have these 2 amazing new apprentices that are my Wealth Alchemy apprentices that are coming in, and that will be stepping in and doing clearing starting the next round. So this is the last time that you're going to be able to do the one-on-one clearing with the Wealth Witch herself. So that may be a deciding factor in you deciding to do the program now as well. Yeah. So, well, Mallory, thanks for sharing your experience. I love your story. I'm actually glad we started with your story, because it hasn't been easy for you. And like, it hasn't been an easy journey, and you have had tremendous reward. But you had the tremendous reward because you stuck with it. And I think that that's really important. And I think it's important. Like, I am not a money coach. I'm not one of those people that are going to be like, you can love and fucking light your way to financial abundance and prosperity, because it's not true. And I'm not going to sit here and sugarcoat that this work is easy, because it's not. Because if it was easy, every fucking coach, Tom, Dick, and Harry, mindset, energy work healer on Facebook would be a billionaire. They're not. It's not easy. It requires hard work. It requires sacrifice. It requires dedication. It requires looking at shit that you don't really want to look at. And so I'm glad that we started with you, actually, because like, you are a testament to like sticking with this and then reaping the reward. This is your 3rd round, yeah?
Yep.
Yeah. So Mallory's back for round 3 of Ouroboros. And I'm really excited because we are doing a reconstruction program called Phoenix. That is phase 2 Wealth Alchemy program work that we'll be launching in June. So that's the other reason maybe you want to get in now and do round 1 now, because then you'll be able to participate in reconstruction, which is phase 2 of the program that will be happening in June. And if you don't do round 1 now, you will have to wait until the end of the year or the beginning of next year to do phase 2. That's all I have. Thanks for joining me. I'm super excited. Tomorrow we have such a good lineup right now. So tomorrow we have Carrie Yossi at 10 a.m. Bali time. And Monday afternoon, we have Erica Briones. And then I think we're going to have Laura Johnson on Tuesday. I've got to get her scheduled in. And we have Tanya coming up next week as well. So lots and lots of good more amazing stories, more, you know, and my goal in this is like, yes, absolutely. We're telling you about this program. We're telling you about Ouroboros. It is open for registration, but this is also, I really want you to see what's possible when you take back control of your financial destiny. And so this series is also about you just being able to see that there are actually actual real people out in the world who've had fucked up situations and scenarios that have come out of it, and are living and designing lives that they deeply desire. So that is the ultimate purpose of the Becoming Wealthy live stream series. I imagine it's something that I'm going to continue to do after these 9 days because I'm excited about it. And I like talking to regular people about how they are triumphing over the global financial agenda. So that's it. That's all we have for you today. Thanks so much for joining me, Mallory, and everyone at home, and have an amazing day, morning, evening, wherever you are in the world as you're watching this live stream with us or you're watching the replay. And remember, it is your divine birthright to be wealthy in all areas of your life. And you are so, so deserving of that. All right.
Bye.
Bye.